brings you depth discussion ranging from politics, health, finance, sports, and so much more. Ground Zero, Season 2.
Hello, the people of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this edition of UBC Ground Zero. Ampere Amon Ortega is my name. And we are live on 4 radio stations covering entire Uganda. In case you're in Kampala, we are 98.0 FM. That is UBC Radio. And in case you're in Arua, we are 97.4 FM. In Lila, we are on 99.4 FM. We are also live and clear on Butebo Radio in Eastern Uganda. If you're in Bale, we are 96.9 FM. In Soroti, we are live on 98.4 FM. If you're in Arua, we are 95.5 FM. And we're also live and clear on another important radio station, UBC West Nile. In Arua, we are on 98.0 FM. It also covers Teso sub-region, Lango sub-region, Achango Acholi sub-region, and parts of Karamoja. I welcome you to this edition of Ground Zero, but not forgetting another important radio in central parts of this country, Magic 100 FM. I welcome you, dear listener, and congratulate you upon reaching this very time. We are almost ending the year 2023, which has been a good year, which has not been a simple year to some people. And we're going to look into the details of the best and the worst of 2023 here in the studios of UBC. I have a special honor and privilege to have been joined by a special team of guests. These are your own. The names, the faces are not new, and you'll be knowing each one of them by their voices. I have a privilege and honor to have the presenters of UBC Radio in the studios of UBC. They're the ones that are going to be leading us tonight in this very important edition of Ground Zero. And we're going to summarize for you 2023. And in case you're there, you also want to share your best and the worst of 2023 as a person, but also as a country, Uganda, the region of East Africa, the continent of Africa, and also as a global citizen, we can also look at the international events that really took shape and lead in 2023. A privilege and honor having our elder Bonnie Chenwin, a presenter of UBC Radio. Welcome to this edition of your Ground Zero.
Thank you, Amon, and good morning, listeners.
A very warm welcome. Also have a lady in the studios of UBC, Faith Elizabeth Suko. Warm welcome to this edition.
Thank you so much, and a very good morning to the listeners.
The man of sports, the many that you follow, who inspires us and educates the country in terms of sports. We learn a lot from him. Ronnie Santos Mwine, warm welcome to this edition.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amon. Good evening to sorry. I'm used to work late in the night. So
yes.
Good morning to you, all our listeners of UBC Radio. And I wish to say we have much for you today.
Interesting. Later on, we're going to be joined by George Ngobi, who is presenter of UBC Radio still, and he presents on the journey, focus on Parliament and Environmental Forum, and many other programs. You've heard from my guests in the studios of UBC, and we're going to learn a lot from them tonight, and we're going to summarize for you 2023. We're looking at the best and the worst. But before we go into that, I would love to request them again to they have already done their greetings, but I would love to, in a special way, in this edition of Ground Zero, to make it clear, but also I would love to break the record, but also I read some of the rules of Ground Zero. I request my executive producer, Doreen Desi, my producer, Msimenta Allen, and programs officer, Frank Iga, yes, to bend the law of Ground Zero, because it's supposed to be presented in English. But for the sake of this edition, and now that we're ending 2023 in style, I would love to greet and wish the people of Uganda the happy 2024, but also welcoming them in 2023. I would love to start with you, Bonnie Chenwin, in all the languages that you can speak. For the people of Uganda, this is a national broadcaster, and we are here to inspire them. Please
Yeah, I speak all the languages.
All the languages.
For now, let me let me stick to two. The other language I know is Luo. Chwala mod bod jodusha mete winyi chawani man UBC red oti program Luo ground zero. Teriri iwinyi waber.
Interesting. Santos, all the languages that you can speak in Uganda. Welcome the people of Uganda in this edition of Ground Zero, but also congratulate them for finishing 2023. We believe that we are ending it well, and also welcoming them to 2024.
Once again, like you said, I'm a fluent Nyankore speaker. So abawulikiriza bitu ba UBC radio na radio zit zona TV zit zona tuenda kubatira program iteji ya Ground Zero kandi no kubatabarusya omwaka no kubakurusyayo omuli byona ebimurabiremu kandi no kubendeza omurungi munonga mwebale kora bumbiro bikuru bita handi munonga mwebale kurikiriza radio zitu kandi mwabemba tuhereza za business mwebale munonga. Nataka niseme asanteni sana kusikiliza UBC radio. Nataka niseme mlikuwa wazuri sana, wasikilizaji wazuri sana hapa Uganda na watu wengine. Asanteni sana kusikiliza UBC radio. Nataka niseme mwaka ijao itakuwa zaidi sana, itakuwa muhimu zaidi. Nganzirira mukaya abandu betu abe Kasese, abandu betu abe Kampala, abana Uganda mose ngabala mukaya ngaba I'm just this is Rukonjo. Do you know Rukonjo, Mr. Amon?
Not really. I'm learning.
Ngabala mukaya mwasinje
I thought you are still in Kiswahili.
Ngabala mukaya mwasinje elurikirire chini mbache tu cha UBC tukabanzire kusivu.
Okay.
Mulaho neza muri neza mwakoze okumviriza UBC radio tubagariza byonna.
Amina. Asoko
tesokere ikwenye tibyaye abamina abachala mwasuze mtya tubagaliza omwaka omulungi mwebale kuuliriza UBC radio.
Interesting. This brings us to opener of Ground Zero this edition. I thank you for learning all those languages and welcome you the people of Uganda. Indeed, this is UBC Ground Zero. The best and the worst. Allow me start with you, Bonnie. On a personal basis, if you're free to share your best of 2023 before we talk about the worst.
Yeah, the best of 2023. Okay, generally 2023 has been a year of highs and lows, and of course the best things are there. Many good things happened in this country. Though sports is still ahead, we are going to discuss it later, but I get excited to mention the AFCON 2027, though we are going to discuss it more later in the area of sports. AFCON 2027 has really made Ugandans happy.
I first wanted to share your personal, are there things that you have achieved or celebrated as a person, maybe as a household, personal level?
Yeah, good health. This year, from the beginning up to towards the end, personally in my family, we have not had problems like health, ill health, and maybe problems in the family. That one I have to thank God. It has been a good thing because it has been exemplary. Because the other year we had so many issues in the family to do with health, but this time round, I think God has been really, really very, very good, very favorable to our family, which is good. Then the other good thing, personally, is that we have tried to move as a family in the area of finances. You know, when you move by some small step, you have to be thankful.
Yeah, sure.
And that one has been really a very good thing to me and the family.
Interesting.
Yes.
Worst?
The worst, personally, has been. Let me start with this one, which just happened a few days ago, just on the eve of Christmas. A woman in a Molatar cut the husband on the head seriously. And if you look at the issue, why the man was cut, it is just about Christmas meat. You know, Christmas meat. Christmas in the village, Ammon,
Means a lot.
it's attached to meat, mostly meat and drinks and what. So here is a lady who cut the husband because of meat. The husband chose to buy meat, a lot of meat, for a lover outside and abandon the family. So that thing pained me a lot because Ammon, you could have seen the picture posted on social media. There's the picture of a man with a cat head from the back. So you can imagine that, and the man is really struggling for his life in the hospital, and then the woman has been kept by police, and that is the main reason for cutting the head of the man. So that one pained me a lot. Of course, there are many other bad things that have happened in the course of the year. Yeah.
Okay. Asaku?
My best of the year is the fact that I traveled. I managed to travel for a good cause. I volunteer with Uganda Girl Guides Association, and I managed to travel to volunteer with Malawi Girl Guides Association to empower young women to reach their fullest potential. I also managed to travel to Ghana for a leadership conference where they were teaching us new skills in leadership and new models of leadership. I managed to achieve many goals. I wrote a book this year. It's a compilation of poems that I have written over the years, and I managed to finally compile it and put it together. And I managed to get a job this year.
All right.
Getting a job is not easy, but I managed to get a job this year. The worst for me in 2023 is coming back home after 6 months and not knowing how to adjust exactly. Things had changed. The prices are way higher than where you're coming from, because the currency in Malawi is a little bit better than what we have in Uganda. So coming back to Uganda and trying to adjust was a little bit hard. And I also witnessed people around me suffer from depression. Some had suicidal thoughts and all that, and it's very hard to watch the people you love go through certain situations and not knowing exactly how to help them, because you cannot fully comprehend how they feel exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Santos?
Yeah, once again, good morning to you. I want to first start with not the worst, but the best of my 2023. I was one of the few lucky guys. I wedded my lover in September. That was one of the biggest achievements, because it is not easy to wed.
Yeah, sure.
And to have this ring in my hand.
So we can.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you. Besides that, as a sportsman, I was very much proud to see one of our clubs in Uganda, in Ugandan football, that is Vipers Football Club, qualifying for the group stages. This is a club started by one man, Dr. Lawrence Mrindwa, who has, come from zero to where he is now. He's a professional teacher. He started as a teacher, then from there he went into the federation, and besides that, he has also built a big stadium, the only stadium that we have currently. We really must appreciate that. So he beat TP Mazembe to qualify for the group stages. Well, he did not do well in the group stages, but at least he qualified, and he's proud of that. He made his dream as a man who started a small club, Bunamwaya, now playing at an international level. That was the best of him. Then another best thing as a Ugandan is to see Mr. Hamu Chigundu building Nachivubo Stadium, or rebuilding or renovating. I have seen in media and some people, saying he stole government money, etc. Wherever he got the money, we have seen so many people that have even been implicated here in Uganda who stole government properties and people's money, and they have done nothing. They have just used that money to eat it.
Yeah, sure.
This is a man, irrespective of where he got the money, or irrespective of evicting the people that so many people are claiming that, many people are evicted. I don't want to say I'm caring now, but at least he put up something. It is a very good and standard stadium. If it is approved by FIFA, I believe many people will, benefit from it. Even if it is not approved by people, at least currently, a few years that I've been here in Uganda, it is going to be the best. It is a very good stadium, Nachivubo Stadium, and it is hosting around 30,000 people. That is enough. Even if they don't play football from there, at least our musicians will go and have concerts there. I remember in this year, King Sir had organized a concert in Rugogo and it rained. I don't know, I'm not one of the promoters, but I believe he made a loss. People did not go there. But if people know that you have a concert at Nachivubo, it is well sheltered, I believe it will be very, very vital. Besides sports, but also entertainment, it will make, a match for the Ugandans. Another thing that actually made me very much okay and, proud in 2023 is to hear the news of Uganda hosting African Cup of Nations. Uganda is going to co-host with our brothers of Tanzania and Kenya. This is the best news we really, any Ugandan would want to hear.
Okay.
It comes with very many things. It doesn't only benefit sportsmen, even the journalists, even the local people, because these people or these players, when they come here and the people would come to watch the games, of course we'll be sleeping in our hotels, we'll be feeding on our food, and also who knows, maybe the other football clubs who will be actually playing, the scouts now have got to know Uganda and other people. The worst of my 2023, on a very sad note, my dad is in Mulago, he's diagnosed with cancer, but he's improving, we thank God. And another sad note that I would want to not to jump or to leave behind is that as a country, we still lack a few things. I'm not okay with the current situation of the roads. I am not talking to anyone, but at least I'm sending my voice. I'm not okay. The roads are not good, not all of them. And then our national team failed to qualify for African Cup of Nations, not because they were not capable, but I believe playing away from home. That's why I praised Ham Chigund for building a stadium. But playing away from home, some games it cost us a lot, like playing Tanzania in Egypt, playing Niger in Morocco, playing Algeria in Morocco. I have a very big feeling if these games were in Nambore or around Kacheka or in Akibua, we would go rather behind our team and maybe they would have qualified.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, and thank you for all sharing your best and the worst of 2023. The reason as to why I started with your personal experiences by sharing your best and the worst is to encourage someone who is listening to us on the other side of radio, even those that you call minor things that you have achieved. They may be very important because there is a one time you were praying for such things to be achieved, and once you achieve, it's better you share to encourage someone. But also sharing your worst also encourages someone who is outside there and says, maybe it is happening to me alone. You are not alone. All of us are swimming in the same waters. It's about how you're going to swim in that you reach the other side of life. Ampaire Amon Obtega is my name, and this is your Ground Zero program. Bonichen Win, Ronnie Santos Muine, Faith Elizabeth Asuko are the people that I have in the studios. We are sharing the best and the worst of 2023. Let us start on the economic page. What has been the best of Uganda in terms of economic transformation, economic progress? And allow me to start with you again, Bonnie.
Thank you so much, Amon. The year 2023 has had so many things to do with the economy, both good and bad. And of course, we have most of the time been seeing our president, our beloved president, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, opening factories. that is something big, because when a factory is opened, jobs are going to increase. People's welfare is going to improve. Tax is going to go higher because of the taxes paid by the factories. So if you have been watching the TV almost on a daily basis, you find that the president has been opening some factory somewhere, meeting some investors somewhere, which is good for the economy, because we have to move, we have to grow, and you cannot grow without industries. That is very good. Only that, on the other note, the cost of doing business in Uganda is still very high when you look at the taxes. So many people are getting out of business because of tax. Because if you are struggling to make a living, and then the money you are making is taken away in tax, there's a way you get demoralized. So much as we are having investments coming in, we are having factories being built, we are having investors coming from out and those from within, government has to look into the tax area so that more people can be welcomed into doing business. And of course, on the other side also, there is corruption. Corruption has been here for some time. Much as we have very many agencies all doing their part in fighting corruption, it is still there. And this demoralizes investors who are supposed to come, demoralizes Ugandans who want to go into business. It demoralizes Ugandans who feel after paying tax, the tax will, part of the tax will get out and go to some few people. So much as the economy is growing and we're having more investments coming in, on the other side, corruption level is so high. And I'm appealing to government to look into that. You find, if I'm to count agencies that are fighting corruption, there are very many. And yet we still have the level of corruption moving higher and higher and higher. So that one has not been good in the year. I pray that in the new year that is going to, we are about to begin in a few days, government should be having a strategy that can really try to eliminate this vice. The word corruption is in every lips, and really government should try and do something this new year 2024 that we are going to enter. I think for now, that is what I can say about the economy of the country. Then, of course, I saw political and socially. I don't know whether we should enter that now.
I shall come to that later.
Okay, for now, on the economy, that is what I have.
Interesting. Asoko, you have already mentioned that our currency is you are not happy with the currency compared to where you've been. And that was already the worst. But let's first start with also the best that you can share with us this morning.
The best I can share right now is I am happy with the parish development model that we believe is going to change people's lives economically, that is giving people the chance to have a little bit of money to invest in different things that they have, different businesses, agriculture, and things that they have looked at that they believe are going to help people to develop economically. And when this happens for the people, it means the economy of the country can also improve. And the worst of economically, part of Uganda, of the economy, is how at a point prices were so high. Above soap was going for 6,000 for White Star. There was a point when the onions were also very expensive. Almost everything was expensive. And yet a common Ugandan does not earn more than $2 a day. So there was a point where the inflation was so bad compared to the finances that we have, compared to the economy, compared to the incomes that we earn. There was a point when the economy was, the the inflation was weighing down a lot on people for things that are not supposed to be that expensive. We had sugar going so high, food was expensive, and it was a bit hard for so many people. That's all I have to share.
Interesting. We have, you just mentioned about PDM, but there are some people who have not been able to involve themselves or to participate in some of the government programs. Bonnie, what would be your advice to such people? They complain that the government does not give them money, but even when money comes, they don't go and register. They don't want to participate, and when money is taken back, they are the same people that they would be the first complaint.
I would really encourage Ugandans to pick up government programs, because these programs are meant to change their lives. As my sister here has talked about PDM. PDM is a very serious program. Compared to other programs, okay, we have had issues with other earlier programs like Myoga and others, but PDM, the way it has been designed, it should be able to benefit everybody. So it's just a matter of Ugandans coming together and being part of the groups and then selecting enterprises, and then you start making money. It is real money. This business of sitting back and looking at people making money is not good, because if you work as a team, like under the parish development model, you will even be encouraged. There are those people who are lazy. They can only be active when they are working within the team, which is good. I would really try to send a strong message to Ugandans who are still out of the equation of the PDM and other government programs to come in so that they can make money and change their lives.
What do you think we can do to make sure that we put our currency to the best, to way like other countries that you have visited in Western Uganda, Saku?
Come again?
Asuku.
Yes.
You just complained about our currency. Do you think there are other countries doing what we are not doing, or how best can we increase that?
How best can we improve our currency? Wow.
Based on the countries that you have visited, you just mentioned, are there things that they are doing differently that we are not doing? Perhaps we can copy from them.
The things that they are probably doing differently that we are not doing is that they have set certain, how do I call them? Say prices for things that are meant to remain that way. There is a certain way they have regulated their economy. The government has taken it upon themselves to put regulatory measures in place for the economy. So I guess that is something we can take up. Yes.
Interesting. Our dear listener, you're still live on UBC Radio, UBC Butebo, UBC Magic Radio, and UBC Western Nile. We are also streaming live. In case you want to watch us live, you go to YouTube and just put UBC Ground Zero, and you'll be able to watch us live or be part of this very conversation. But also you can reach to us on 0776 511 426, or keep your messages coming through on 0701 24 26 47. Santos, I would love to go to the social bit. Socially, let's talk about how the people of Uganda have been able to live freely with the others. And I would love to talk about the general behaviors of the people of Uganda. Bonnie just mentioned about a couple that a man who is nursing wounds in the hospital because was pierced by the woman for just a meat on Christmas. And also saw some girlfriend who also killed the boyfriend and also later killed herself. That was my worst of 2023. I'd also want to share from you as we get to the other bad side of 2023 in terms of socially. Let's also share the best before we shed the worst side. Bonne.
Yes. As my brother comes, among Ugandans, many Ugandans are in frustrations. Many Ugandans are having problems. Many Ugandans are having family issues. Many Ugandans are really not happy, not because maybe government is not doing for them enough or some of these things, but when you go into society, you'll find so many things happening, and many of those are not brought out. Like you have just talked about somebody killing the lover, then what I raised earlier about a woman cutting the man on the head. These are issues. I don't think the woman was really cutting because of the meat. That is just now like immediate cause. There could have been so many things the woman has been thinking about. Maybe the man has not been really that serious man who really brings money on the table, or even you might find the man has been really working so hard and bringing money, but maybe not enough. This is just an immediate cause. When somebody cuts the other, it could just be an immediate cause. But so many people are having problems in families, and I don't know how we can handle that. Society has gone crazy. Poverty is really hitting on people in homes, and the people are struggling to get money here and there, but things are not working out. So you see somebody moving on the streets, he's having a million things in the head boiling. So anything that happens, you find a problem coming up. And then the other issue is that socially we would expect religious leaders to come in and then talk to people. But again, we are having issues, we have problems. Much as we have our elders who are always talking to our young people, we have the religious leaders who are always counseling us, talking to us in church. There is a lot to be done, and we all need to be part of it, because as a family, you, the man and the wife in the home, there is need to sit together, to plan together. There is need to agree on so many things. There is need to work as a team. Because if the man is detached from the family, the woman and the wife are on the other side, then the man is detached. The woman doesn't understand the man. All the time the woman will be thinking maybe the man is negative, is not plumbed in society, in homes, that needs to be addressed. And to address it, it is a concerted effort. We, the heads of the families, society itself, religious leaders, and other people.
Interesting. Elizabeth, the social aspect.
The social aspect in Uganda, I am so happy that socially Ugandans have continued to support each other through and through. For example, throughout the year, there have been cases of people who needed financial support in hospitals, and Ugandans came through. They collected money for each other, and then we've seen testimonies of these people that have either made it, and even those that didn't make it, still Ugandans came through. There were car washes to help support the health of the people. And then when we use the example of Mama D, the most recent example, Mama D, the lady who was breaking the cookathon record, the World Guinness Book of Record, the one for cooking, so many Ugandans came out to support her. So socially, we are still very hospitable and supportive of each other. People have supported musicians this year. People have supported families. We've seen the artists go out to give out food, things that other people need through their own initiatives. We've seen our members of parliament also coming down to help the people down here. And then the worst part of it, of the social life in Uganda, is how relationships are degenerating, and relationships are causing a lot of harm to the people. People are failing to coexist together. Like he talked about the woman who cut the man. And then we also have another incident of 3 men, one a South Sudanese national, who beat up a woman in a bar over a new phone that she had gotten from someone else. They beat this woman to death. So socially, relationships are degenerating a lot. People are dying. And then we have cases of young children committing suicide over issues that are not really issues. Social media is ruining the children. But all in all, we still have the support and love that comes with being Ugandans from each other.
Interesting. We've been joined by George Ngovi, is the presenter also on UBC Radio, the presenter on The Journey, focus on parliament, environmental forums. So by the nature of the program he does, you can tell he's an environmentalist, he's a literature expert, he's also a political figure when it comes to politics. Warm welcome to this edition of UBC Ground Zero, Gobi.
Thank you, Amon. Great to see you. Great to see everybody here. Great to see Bonnie. Great to see a lady, Asuku. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yes. Interesting. We've been talking about the economic part of it, and then we found us when we're talking about the social aspects. When it comes to Uganda, are there social values that you have appreciated, especially in 2023?
There's quite a lot, Amon. Uganda, Ugandans socially are party animals, and they love to party a lot. They love to invent a lot. The Justin have been celebrating Mamadi. Have you read about Mamadi?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Mamadi going into the Guinness Books of Records for taking. Actually, she's still cooking. For taking the longest hours trying to break the record held by that Irish man, previously held by a Nigerian lady. So you can see that Ugandans are at par with the rest of the world when it comes to social events, especially when it comes
I heard that a Nigerian lady was the most current, right? So Uganda, we are the one.
No, the Irish man is the one who has the record of 120 hours plus. But Mamadi has surpassed that, and she wants to set her own. I think she's going up to 31st.
She's still cooking.
She's still cooking. So you are free to go and have a free. Actually, one of the rules is that you go and have free meals.
Oh, sure. That's interesting.
So quite interesting, and there's a lot of fun happening, and she's getting a lot of support. So socially, I think we are at par with the rest of the world. If you look at some of the events that has happened here, year in, year out, we've got a lot of concerts. The last 100,000 to as much as 300 million shillings, Bonnie. Just imagine.
Wow.
So socially, we are doing well, although there are some incidents I've been following about those domestic wrangles that do happen. They also come a lot. It suggests that probably people are stressed, and especially we are just coming out of the COVID pandemic. So you find that we are slowly adjusting. You may find that the incomes are not so good, so friendly. That's why you find that there is a lot of domestic violence. There are some incidences, bad incidences of lovers stabbing each other. Just imagine young couple, 123, 22 years. And it's quite unfortunate that such a young couple can end up tragically like that, leaving behind a 5-month-old baby girl. So you can see, although when it comes to happenings, Uganda ranks high, but still, when average you compare the incomes, they are not uniform socially.
So what do we spend all in happenings?
At times, when you can't go for the, let me give you an example. When you can't go for the high-hanging fruits, you tend to go for the low-hanging fruits, which you can easily get. And we are not the type that want to sour grape. Ugandans have a tendency of having 10,000 in the pocket, and they can spend it in just a blink. And tomorrow will sort for itself. So we need probably to learn a few saving saving techniques probably from the Asian community, because they tell me those guys are so frugal when it comes to their incomes. So we need to have a tendency of being frugal, like the president always emphasizes that if you cannot afford bread, you can eat maogo. At times you find, but times
that you have issues with the people of Uganda. Bonnie has just told us there is a couple that fought during Christmas over meat.
If I may add
please.
What George has said. You see, Ugandans are very interesting, including myself. Ugandans will save money for the whole year, aiming at Christmas and New Year. And then on that day, they will eat everything. So you eat everything from the house. Then the following day, you get up yawning. And then, like now, there are those who have eaten everything during Christmas, and then they will wind up with the balance on New Year. Then, just in a few weeks, the headmasters will be knocking on the door for school fees.
Yes.
And then you find you have nothing. So,
there is even headmasters only. Every shop would be demanding because you would be having debts everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So we really need to change and style up so that we can really have a meaningful life.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Finally, maybe talking about the social aspect of it. Uganda also went into the record of having the second oldest lady giving birth at 70 years. That's probably a good sign that we're still so fertile.
It's another record.
Another record. The second oldest lady giving birth to twins. It probably shows that there is a relative peace, because if there's no peace, there's no room for having babies, making babies.
Yeah, sure.
But it shows the number of the relative peace that we enjoy, that comes with a lot of advantages.
Interesting. UBC Radio, UBC Butebo in Eastern Uganda, UBC West Nile in West Nile, and Magic 100 FM in Central Uganda. We're also streaming live on YouTube. Just go there and put UBC Ground Zero, and you'll be able to watch us live. You'll be able to see all the people that I have in the studios of UBC. I have Bonne Chen Win, I have Ronnie Santos Muine, I have Faith Elizabeth Asoko, and also Georgie Ngobi. Let's talk about the religious part. How our churches, how our faith, we are practicing faith. We have the Muslims here, we have the Catholics, we have the Protestants, we have the born-agains. Are we all attending to these religious gatherings and all these faith? How is our religious aspect when it comes to Uganda? George Ngovi.
Uganda, basing on its nature as being a liberal economy, it has a free worship status, where every individual has the right to worship whatever religion they feel. Although it's a liberal kind of worship area, we've seen a lot growing, especially the born again faith is taking over. You can find that they keep on growing every other day. They keep on growing. The population is growing. If you look at the churches, there are many churches. If you pass around, for example, one day you can see a huge structure coming up, built by Prophet Kakande. If you look around Kampala, you have huge places of worship that do host more than tens of thousands of worshippers. That is a trend that is ongoing, and believe me, given the time, probably if you give me more years to come, you'll find that the Christian faith is kind of overtaking because of its contemporary way of worship, where you're allowed to go to church in any form. You can see the other time it was an abomination for one dreadlocked person to go to church. They would look at you as being a Rastafarian. How could you go to church? But if you look at the way the dress code, the youth are now open to the new churches, the way they praise, the way they worship, the way they dress up. It's like a fashion show when it comes to church. So it has attracted a lot of youth, and you find that the traditional religions are suffering that because of the modern way of worship. That mentioned, though, there are some glitches of the Catholic Church recently, the Pope endorsing the same-sex marriages, which many African churches, many African religions have desisted from, including Uganda. By the way, talking about the same-sex marriage, Uganda passed law, the anti-homosexuality law against homosexuality, and it has some of the harshest, according to some areas, some of the harshest punishments of aggravated homosexuality. So, that being said, I think there is a trend, there's a growing trend of the like I talked about earlier, the born again faith. Though the Catholic faith also continues to grow, and also the Orthodox Church. If you go to areas like Kansanga, Gaba side, you will notice that is an influx of Eritreans and Ethiopians that do practice Orthodox. And you find that many Orthodox churches are growing, and they even now go on and wed. They go and marry through those churches that used not to be so familiar with our faith. So the Orthodox Church is also on the downwards trend, growing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Some progress that we're making, actually, it is one of the, like you rightly put it, it is because of the religion and the faith and the belief that we have in this faith that Uganda was able to reject the anti-homosexual ill, and we passed that because we stand to believe. Even our motto, for God and my country, you would tell that it is a country that believes in God. Bonnie?
Yes. When we
go to church?
Yeah.
Did you go to church this year?
I'm a very serious church goer. I don't just go, but I go and really keep there and look at religion as something very good that can really shape our morals. But as George said, so many churches have come up.
In 1 kilometer, you'd find 10.
Everywhere. Even there are people who have churches in their compounds, family churches.
Yeah, sure.
See? But it is good. It's a good thing. But I wonder, I sometimes wonder, are all these churches that are spreading, really preaching the word of God, guiding people to really worship God and to go the God way? Because it is one thing to have so many churches and then total another to confirm, to make sure that they are really doing the right thing. When you look at these churches, like, first of all, Church of Uganda, there are challenges there. Much as we have churches everywhere now, but there are also divisions. You see, when you look at Church of Uganda of recent now, there is that. It happened in Soroti, where a bishop was meant to be consecrated, but then something came up again. So, under the main churches, there are other churches that want to break off and begin. Like now, when you have Church of Uganda, then you find some other people coming up to have a reformed one, something like a reformed one. So I don't know whether that's a good thing, but much as we have churches, we should they should be able really to guide our people, to guide our youth. We talked about the youth. The youth are very many, and if they go to church, they should be guided well. Otherwise, we are going to have youth who are just getting spoiled.
Okay.
What I wanted to bring out is that recently, just as we had it some years back, you remember the Kibwetere case? Yeah, you find a church. Recently, I read something about a church telling the leaders telling worshippers to prepare for selling all the things because they would be going to heaven.
Again, we are having such a belief in Uganda.
Yes. So now you wonder, as churches open and we pick the churches to go to worship from, we should also be careful.
So some Ugandans didn't learn any lesson from the Kiwetere experience.
We should go to church, but we should also screen those churches and know, are they the right churches or they are misguiding us?
But also something that I've realized, people are praising more of their church leaders than God or Jesus. I don't know whether you have also not observed that. You would find that someone would not even want you to mention about their church leader.
So some of these leaders are small gods. or they are gods?
They are becoming. But another interesting thing, yes,
Maybe
George.
to add it, to chip in a little bit on that. Like you said, that they tend to believe more in their leaders. Recently, you heard about a group of worshippers that were intercepted walking through to Ethiopia.
Those who were from Soroti.
Those were from Soroti.
They died from. They died in Ethiopia, right?
They died in Ethiopia, so you can see that they tend to believe more in their leaders. And recently, also in Kenya, a pastor made the congregation to starve, and they die and go to heaven. They go to heaven, and actually, mass graves were found beneath under the church. So you can see that probably, as we have a liberal society that allows freedom of worship, these churches needs to be regulated because it's not really right. A pastor as young as 18 years leading a congregation that has elders. So there need to be some regulations, there need to be some education on how, probably administratively, how you can handle such congregations. Because if you have a gathering of more than 1,000 followers, then you need to have some administrative skills apart from the religious skills.
Well, that said, Ngobi, like you rightly put it, having 1,000 followers, there is a lot that you have to think about in terms of administration, but also in terms of security. Yes. We just talked of recent past, we had a bomb which was planted at Miracle Center Church. If we don't have that, what should churches, maybe you can advise on that. What should churches do to make sure that the security of the followers, of the believers, is ensured?
Okay, security first.
Should police now come in to be part of these religions and churches to protect the people of Uganda?
Yes, police has the mandate to protect the people and the property. But even though when the police is around, security begin with you, Amon. You need to be very, very, very vigilant. Who is your neighbor? If you have a stranger, a follower, you need to be vigilant. Like the case of the Miracle Center, it was the followers that noticed that strange
because of the vigilance.
Because of the vigilance. So we need to be vigilant. Of course, we need security because if you have a gathering of more than 1,000, you need to inform the police. As in the law, that if you gathered, at some point they said that if you are like 3 gathering in a compound, you need to inform the LC or the security people about your gathering. So we need to be vigilant before we could call on the forces.
Faith, let's talk faith like your name suggests.
First and foremost, the culture of the Uganda Matters, people coming from all over the country, is still a culture that is going on. And I think it's something that does build the faith of the people, since they come through from so many places and they actually have the faith that when they come like that, their prayers are going to be answered. They're going to get the answers they are looking for. Because people come even from Rwanda, Congo, on foot to Namugongo, which is a good thing that is still standing in faith. They also talked about the churches that are growing, which is also good. But then we recently had an incident of the 4 Christians that sued, was not looked at because of infidelity cases. But then these other Christians were asking for evidence for the infidelity that the bishops are talking about. Religiously, we would expect the church to be able to solve their issues amicably together, like sit down on one table and talk about it. I mean, Christ is love. They should be able to share and solve the problem within the church. But now we are at a point where we are including the courts of law in the church. We are suing the bishops. We are suing the shepherds. The sheep are now suing the shepherds, which gives a totally different perspective of faith and religion itself. And he also talked about the gentleman in Kenya that asked people to fast to death so they can see Jesus. I still don't understand how people can believe that, because why is the pastor not fasting with us? Doesn't he want to see Jesus? After all, we are all aiming for heaven. So if we are fasting, we should be vigilant, like they said. You cannot ask someone to fast to death when you're not fasting with them, because I'm sure you also want to see Jesus. And then there's also news that made rounds about a man, was it in Masaka, somewhere in central Uganda, who claimed that he's Jesus. He claimed that God appeared to him and God told him that he's Jesus. People should be on the watch for all these people.
We had one also here in Uganda a few years ago. Who was claiming to be Jesus.
And then we have so many religions that are coming up where people are actually proclaiming that they are God themselves. Religions where someone says they are God and they want people to follow them. And then there was one where the man actually convinced the people that his son fell sick, and he convinced the people that the son will wake up, he will be fine. But he died, the son didn't wake up. And there are so many of these that are coming up. There's so many cultic worship places that are rising, and people should really, really look into it. We can all talk to God. We have free service to God directly. If you believe in God, or if you believe in a higher power, before you follow anyone blindly, I would suggest that you pray to God. If he can speak to the pastor, I believe he can speak to you too.
Caller, UBC Radio.
Yes, I'm on. Good morning.
A very good morning to you. You're live and clear.
Juma from the best roundabout, Busega.
Thank you for being part of us.
Always, I'm humble.
Your best of 2023.
2023, it was a harsh one. But all in all, religiously, we give thanks back to Almighty. We lost several people, and the financially we are not okay, because we are still feeling the repercussion of COVID-19. So all in all, we were just in that like that. Except religiously, those who have faith, they made it. And when you have faith, regardless of the religions you are aware one day your physical body here we are seeing on earth will go down and the soul will go up where it deserves.
Okay.
But now, what about business in churches, business in mosque? It has killed our faith. In those days, you could hear Papa Abraham, there are so many prophets. When they made covenant with the Almighty, for example, go to Kasese. By then, there is no vehicle. Go to Kasese. You are going to speak to the people of Kasese, and you go to the other mountain where you are going to receive me. I'm going to be there waiting for you. But with our, let me say our bishops, our Hajj of today, first of all, they will send you a message. Where is my fuel? If I'm to go to such a distance, make sure you get for me fuel. You, the congregations, you are the one to contribute the offertory to facilitate your own concerned leader.
But they will ask you, how do you expect us to reach to you when we don't have transport?
Exactly. Now we have to go back behind. We ask, how were those our old prophets were making it?
They are walking.
Yes, they are walking with the donkeys or walking by foot, but they were patient because it will take like, today it may take like 1 month. I'm going to Kasese, okay? But all in all, the faith has changed. Those who are putting on those big guns, we know that they are our leaders. They are now on the other side making money.
Okay.
Let's build back our faith. And by the way, Holy Bible and Holy Quran will guide us. This is the major tools for us. So many churches were created, and without knowing where really these churches are generating from. Okay? At the end of the day, you find the congregations are being abused. Some of them, they are misusing our congregations. They are using these worshippers to earn them their livings and for them to remain above. And yet, when we go up to Jannah or to heaven, you will find the one whom you were undermining from your church. would be more superior than you, whom you were leading him from up down here.
Thank
so
you, Juma.
let us build back. Let's build back our faith. Thank you so much, Amon.
Most welcome, and thank you for being part of us.
Happy New Year 2024.
Happy New Year to you.
Amen.
That is Juma from Bosega, is part of us from the other side, and has been part of us also from the time we started this year 2023, and we must thank you and all the other listeners. 776-511-426, your best and the worst of 2023. Let's talk sports now. 2023, any achievements that we have realized or achieved as a country, and I'm glad that we have the expert in this very sector, Santos. Take us from there.
Okay, thank you very much, Amon. As a country, we didn't achieve much in sports.
Yes, we don't qualify.
Yeah, we did not qualify for African Cup of Nations. We were expecting in this year one of the greatest threats in the world, not only in Uganda, but the best, in my opinion, for the past 5 or 7 years. Joshua Cheptegei changed from what he has been doing. That is, he has been running, 5,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers. He changed from from that to marathon, and he did not do well. He did not surely do well. So that was one of them. We did not end it, fairly. Then 2, besides the national team failing to qualify yesterday, but one. In fact, yesterday, but one. A club from Arua called Arua Football Club, Arua Hill Football Club. They are struggling. They traveled to play a game in Masindi, and they only traveled 9 players. A team is supposed to register with 25 players. That is maximum. Maximum. But at least 19, 20. But maximum 25 players. It's also unfortunate that they are lacking funds, and they only traveled 9 players to play against 11 players and away from home. They lost 7-1.
Is that possible to have 9 playing 11?
Yeah, the FIFA law says 7. If the game cannot be played if they are less than 7. But if there are 7 players, then they can play. But if any of the players get a red card, the referee is requested to stop the game. If there are only 7,
and the one gets a red card,
they remain 6. Injured, and they are 6. That game cannot continue under FIFA regulatory rules.
So for them, they had 9.
And
so they could participate.
Yes, they are allowed to participate. It is actually better to miss. It is better than missing the game, because when you miss the game, the repercussions are a little bit tough. So, as a sportsman, it is unfair and it is not good for us. Either maybe the qualifications to come to the Super League, or maybe the leaders behind the league, surely they are not doing the right things. Because I tried to follow it up. I talked to the CEO, Mr. Oterul Vegas from Arua. He told me they are struggling financially as a team, and one of the reasons is that this league is sponsored by Star Times. Star Times gives money to football clubs, around 50 million per club. It is so unfortunate that the money that this club should have got last season, that ended in May, they did not get the money, or the second installment, which is close to 30 millions. Then also, this season, the money that are supposed to be paid by to clubs also have not come. So the clubs are struggling, not only Alua Hill. It is because maybe Alua Hill are really, really naked now, we can see them. But some other clubs are putting on jackets to protect what is behind there. So in reality, if the sponsors of the league does not pay the clubs, these clubs have no source of funds. 2, a club like Arua Hill, they have been benefiting from, entry fees, as in when they host games in Arua at I'm forgetting it, their stadium, but that is for Onduparaka. They are building their own stadium.
Okay.
So when these guys, or when the fans come to watch the game, they pay money to enter, and the club has been gaining in that. But now, the federation who brought the sponsors, Star Times and MTN, they are not, I don't know whether the Star Times have paid and the money is still in the federation. That is one. That is another topic that we can discuss on another day. But they have not paid the clubs. What did they do? They did not pass the stadium of Arua to host games at home. So now Arua is hosting in Adjumani. You are stretching this club that is not even paid, that have no source of income. Their only source of income per now is the gate collections from the home funds. Now, you are punishing this club from Arua to play in Adjumani. First of all, it is a big income, or rather a big expense. If you own Arua and you want to play in Adjumani, but you train in Arua, it means you have a game on Thursday. You need to train in Arua on Monday, Tuesday. Then Wednesday, you go and fill the stadium and in Adjumani. That is the transport, where the players will sleep, etc.
Okay.
Thank you. Then when you come back, you have a game in Mbarara, let's say. Again, the players now travel from Adjumani to Mbarara. Besides the players getting tired, how much money will the club put in?
Okay.
So I think it is under that, expense that these clubs are failing to get money. But nevertheless, I appreciate and I want to say thank you to.
We are hosting AFCON as East Africa.
That one is it is also a good story. But I think Mr. Amon and the team I have, or the team I'm with in the studios, hosting is, we should not actually, yes, we need to appreciate that we are lucky, we were blessed, and we have the opportunity to host African Cup of Nations. But it is also good not to host. It is also not good to host and you get walloped. Because if you don't have a team, I think it is better to organize a team. And organizing a team starts from, having clubs like Arua here settled, because these are the products, or these are teams that produce the products we want.
Okay.
So we need to first settle the league, I think. That was a bad one.
If you can give me a few minutes and I get this caller.
Okay.
UBC?
Yes, Amon. Juma is back in sport.
You have seconds, sir.
Thank you. Being someone from West Nile, it was our pride to have Onduparaka and the Arua Hill. But the problem of Arua Hill, I couldn't blame it to start time. When you perform very well in 1 year, that does not mean you that start aiming at bringing infrastructure to the standard of whereby you don't know how you are going to maintain it. Financial problems came into Arua Hill when they started making infrastructure of the stadium. They rush. It was a rush of misusages of resources, whereby they didn't know where their momentum may stop at. All the promises and all the facilitation, like things like motivating the players, became hard because they were started seeing things are not working well into their account as they before.
Okay.
So to me, what I may say, the stakeholders governing the sports within Arua Hill, they messed up with how to manage financial side of the club, making Arua Hill to suffer today. And two, pushing them to be playing at the Paridi Stadium in Adjumani. That's another. It is very far from Arua to Adjumani. Is also another way of straight to come to Kampala.
Thank you.
Whereby,
Thank you.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Welcome, my brother.
No.
Time is not on our side. Have a number of issues to tackle. You're still amazing on that.
Okay. Yeah, he said.
It's not good to host. You said we shouldn't celebrate so much that we are hosting AFCON.
Yeah, because we if we still have clubs that are failing to raise 11 players to go and play against a team in the domestic league, and we expect the same team to give us a national team player, the players are frustrated. But anyway, that is on a sad note.
Could we have hosted it alone as Uganda, or we couldn't because of the facilities that we have?
We can, but I think we would not won, or we would not have won the bid.
Because so it was good for East Africa.
Not because we are unable, but because our competitors that we would compete with are superior. When you look at, have been much lucky that I've traveled now to 31 countries because of sports, because I'm a professional FIFA agent.
Okay.
So I've been in 31 countries and 15 of them are from Africa.
Let's talk the regional sports. As East Africa,
maybe before that, news? Mr. Amon, some of the incidents that happened in 2023 sports-wise, starting from Uganda, locally, Bulemes won the Masaza Cup. They have been trying to make it again. They had won 2 before, so this time they beat Gomba in the final 1-0 in Wankurukuku. That is in Masaza Cup. Then also the Uganda national team, the lacrosse team, qualified for the World Cup in in USA, and they played well. Though on a sad note, 3 players, left the camp and disappeared. That was on a sad note. But also, another story that maybe I would talk about as a sportsman in Uganda is that for the first time, the Uganda national cricket team has qualified for the T20 World Cup in America and West Indies for the first time. This is a very big one, and Uganda beat Rwanda, our neighbors, to qualify for the first time. That was a very big credit. Also, on a very good note, our national basketball team, City Oilers, the 9-time champions of Uganda Basketball League, have also qualified for the second time for the BAL Games. BAL Games is African Basketball League. That is clubs, basketball clubs, the best ones from each country, qualify and play at a regional level, and Uganda managed to qualify. The tournament will be in Kigali in Rwanda, starting in March 2024, and City Oilers qualified for the second time.
All right.
Worldwide,
international sports.
Yeah, in international sports, we had 3 major World Cup tournaments, and the best one that I would wish to start with is because we are involved. South Africa managed to defend the World Rugby World Cup. It was hosted in France, but before it started, the defending champions were South Africa. So the 2023 FIFA men's rugby World Cup, it was won by South Africa. They beat New Zealand in the final, becoming the first country to defend the World Cup, the World World Cup,
okay,
from away from home. Then we also had the FIFA Women's World Cup that was also played in New Zealand and Australia. It was won by Spain, meaning that Spain national team, the women national team of Spain, is the first country in the world to have won the Under-17 World Cup, Under-20 World Cup, and the Senior World Cup for women in the same year, because they won the Under-20, they won the Under-17, and also they won the senior one. We also had the World Cup, the Cricket World Cup in India, and Australia won it.
Okay.
That is
as you wrap up
in India.
Sports.
Winding it up, there is what is going on. We had the World Cup before this year. That was 2022. That was hosted in Qatar. and it was hosted in a different time, as in World Cups have been the previous World Cup tournaments have been going on in June, July, and August. The reasons why the tournament, the World Cup tournaments have been played in June, July, it is because at least the entire leagues are always in a break. So this time around, because of money, even some of the FIFA members were implicated, and some of them are still in jail. They were bribed to host the World Cup in Qatar in December. Why they couldn't host it in June? Because during June period in Qatar and some other Middle East countries, it is too hot. So they looked for some
most favorable.
Yes, the most favorable time, and it was December.
Okay.
Yes, they hosted it in December, and there were a lot of struggles to reach there because the leagues were already going on. Now, after that World Cup that was won by Argentina, the players now, almost in every football club, you find there are 5 to 7 injuries and plus, simply because the players are tired.
Okay. Thank you, Santos. The last one on that, the last comment as we end sports.
As we end sports, I'm also very much humbled that our national team of the women, our women national team is doing well. They are improving, but the national team of the netball national team of Uganda, who finished number 8 in the World Cup tournament, the netball World Cup, had not talked about that, but Uganda at the She Cranes went to South Africa and finished number 8 in the world. But currently there are so many struggles behind the team. We were supposed to go and participate in a certain tournament. We were not, because as we talk, the World Netball governing body has put an embargo or a sanction on the national team of Uganda because the government did interfere with sports. When a government interferes with the federation, that federation is suspended. Okay. So as we talk now, the Netball Federation is under suspension because the president of the elected president of the Netball Federation, Madame Sarah Chitio, was arrested for embezzling fund. Accused of embezzling funds, and she failed to actually give an accountability of the money used in Namibia.
Thank you so much.
There is a claim,
Thank you.
She's. I think the case is in the court's row.
Thank you so much.
For that matter, the national netball team, we cannot predict the fate for tomorrow about the
Would
team.
love to go on with that kind of update, but because of the time, we may not.
On a little note, I wanted the sports expert to educate me on why we were ranked 8th, yet indeed actually we finished number 1 in Africa. How does the rankings go on in the netball World Cup?
Yeah,
Pick one on that, Santos.
The rankings are when they play the World Cup. So and it is always there were 32 teams. We qualified from the first group, then we went to the last 16. We won. So when it is every after 4 years that you play, or rather every after 2 years that you play the World Cup. So the last 16 teams, or when they are 32, it means the best 32 are going for the World Cup.
Okay.
Then you qualify from 32 round of 32 to round of 16. When you go to round of 16, when you beat and qualify to the round of 16, it means you are one of the best 16 countries in the world. Then from round of 16 we won and qualified to the last 8. That's where we lost from. Okay. And we lost the playoffs. Yeah.
Interesting. If you may allow me, read some of the messages coming from the people of Uganda listening to us from the other side of radio. Jonas says the government should invest more in sports since it is one that is raising our flag high. Thank you, Jonas. Jimmy, you are listening in from Lila, and you said our currency is letting us down. Simon Mugelwa, I was happy that Uganda rejected the homosexuality because of the religion and faith, and that shows that we're also sovereign. We are a sovereign country. Bravo to the president. And also Grace, listening in from Gayaza, says churches are doing a great job to instill good behaviors, especially to our children. Our parents no longer have time to teach their children, but the churches are doing that. Thank you. Keep your messages coming through on 0701 24 26 47. Gentlemen and a lady, I would love us to go to the regional politics or regional affairs, and we have a lot that has been taking place in the East African region, politically, socially. If you can go through that in a few minutes. Let me start with you, Gobi. East African Community 2023.
Yeah, when it comes to the East African Community 2023, a lot happened in Africa, especially in East Africa, because for the first time, Africa hosted the Climate Change Conference that was held in Nairobi International Convention Center, where countries came up to find mitigating factors, because you can see there is a lot that is happening globally when it comes to global warming. Now, this happened from 4th to 6th September 2023, where the African Union and Government of Kenya co-hosted the inaugural Africa Climate Summit to discuss sustainable solutions to global climate challenges, which was held under the theme Driving Green Growth and Climate Finance Solutions for Africa and the World. So the summit culminated in the Nairobi Declarations, which is an 11-point call of action proclaiming Africa states unifying stance to climate action ahead of the 28th United Nations Climate Change Conference, that is COP28, that also ended in the United Arab Emirates, where countries are committed to fight global climate change and putting a resource of many $1 million to mitigate climate change actions. Ironically, Amon, we fall victims because in a report that was read by Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, who represented the president, had just concluded COP28. The Nairobi Convention was represented by all the ministers of environment and the land ministry. We have Honorable Beatrice Anywa, have Honorable Judith Nabakoba. But interestingly, you find that Africa, when it comes to global emissions, we are the least polluters. In the case of Uganda, you find that 0.01% of the climate of pollution, Uganda is responsible for only 0.1%, I can say. We don't pollute that according to other countries that actually emit a little of. So they are championing, trying to, for example, when you look at the African Climate Summit, which had approximately 30,000 delegates, which included 18 heads of African states. It also had the General Secretary, the Secretary General of the United Nations, that is Antonio Guterres. We have the President of the European Union, that is Ursula von der Leyen, with discussions centered on climate action financing and green growth agenda for Africa and climate economic development. So you can see that we need to have a role to play when it comes to mitigating the factors of climate change.
Yeah, sure.
And Prime Minister Nabanja said that we are so much, she said that 75% of Ugandan population uses biomass. When you talk about biomass, we are simply looking at wood and wood residues for cooking.
Okay.
So that leads to a lot of deforestation and deforestations on the rampart. That's how you have a lot of flooding when it comes to rains, and of course a lot of sunshine when it comes to drought. Of recent, I think we've realized the percentage of floods in Kampala, especially if you look at those downtown, central business area around.
Interesting.
Those arcades are flooding, turning into puddles of swimming pools when it rains. It's all the effects of climate change and not protecting the wetlands. If you actually realize that most of those arcades, if you look at Kampala's terrain, it's built on wetlands. So
thank you.
Yes.
Interesting. Faith, the best of 2023 internationally.
We have countries that have recently joined 2023 internationally.
Let's talk international politics, especially when in 2023.
Best. I think I'm going to talk about the worst.
It is okay.
Internationally. The worst internationally.
There is nothing that was pleasing internationally 2023.
There was, but I want to talk about the worst.
All right.
I want to talk about the Russia-Ukraine attack that brought so many people to lose their lives, and it caused so many people to rise up against Russia. Russia was removed from the World Cup. Ukraine had so many supporters coming through from so many different places. And then right after the Russia thing, we had Israel attack on Palestine, and then the Hamas and Israel also going on, conflicts that have been ongoing for a very, very long time that just keep reoccurring and repeating each other. And then socially, we've also had weather changes. He was talking about climate change affecting different places. We had a cyclone in Malawi that wiped away villages. Very, very many villages were wiped away. Lots of people died. We also had a hurricane in Nepal where so many people were buried in the hurricane. We also had cyclones in Madagascar and so many other places where we've had very many situations happening because of the climate change. So basically, I think internationally, for me, I've seen more of the worst of 2023 than the best of 2023. Yes.
Bonnie, do you also have the worst of 2023 internationally? You have another version.
My worst, I think, has been the Palestine war. If you look at what has been happening there, if you look at the videos, you will just wonder what is going on in some parts of the world. And it is interesting that it is now bringing in the major players in the world. You talk of America, Russia, and all those big countries. I think, I don't know whether it is because they want to really exhibit their power, because in every war, in every country in the world, you find America coming in. They always come in, especially if it is involving connection with countries like Russia, and these other big countries. They always come in. And by the time there is a ceasefire, by the time the war is ending, if you count the number of lives lost, it is really so sad. So that has been in fact, as my sister said, I've been seeing in most cases the worst. The worst, because that war now comes up. It now covers these other problems we have in other parts of the world, because it has been ongoing and it has been increasing. It started from some level, but it has just been increasing, and bringing in so many other players, especially the big countries.
Interesting. We also have a number of events. They're sharing the worst. Indeed, there is less to celebrate, but I believe there are also other things to celebrate or to think about internationally. King Charles, was it this year when he was anointed and crowned the king?
Yes.
That was in May, I think, if not mistaken.
Yes.
We also had Finland join North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. Yet Finland is bordering with Russia. We also have NAM and G27 when Uganda, it is in this year that we are also celebrating to host that NAM and G27 plus China next year. I don't know how prepared we are. I would get your comments on NAM, and that is non-allied movement. We're also expecting USA presidential elections. I would get your your perceptions on that next year. We also had the Israel-Palestine war, which actually overshadowed the Russian-Ukraine war. So many things. Bonnie, you had something to say before
I just wanted to, we have passed the East African thing. I wanted just to add something on that I'm happy that we have added more countries on the East African community.
Yeah, sure. Somalia's
the new babies, Somalia, making us have 8 countries under the East African community. That's a big market.
Yeah,
if we are really to increase production, that's a very big market. And security-wise, makes us a very strong region. So I'm happy about that.
Also, we had sent troops to Eastern Congo, and we have been doing much better than we found the situation.
Oh yes.
But also in the region, we have had Burundi accusing Rwanda of keeping some rebels there, and the other day on Christmas when Burundi was attacked and a few people died, is it on the church? But also DRC Congo is blaming the same Rwanda for its insecurities. That is one of the worst things that we ever think and we experienced in 2023, I think. Ngobi.
Yeah, probably to add on to the economic perspective. Uganda Airlines opening up new routes
to Mumbai.
To Mumbai
Yes.
and Nigeria. It's a very, very good thing
sure.
that will come up with economic benefits. And of recent, the impact is being felt because the accents on the streets have changed, especially when it comes to West African accents. You find that we have new accents on the streets of Kampala, probably because of the route that goes links you directly to Nigeria. And if you go to social media, Amon, believe me or not, you will not scroll like past 5 posts without noticing a Nigerian speaking to you.
People including Oga.
So, Uganda Airlines has not been doing well economically, but opening up such routes is a very, very good future because the number of passengers that go through Entebbe Airport have drastically increased. And actually, they've warned that you need to book early, especially when we are going to host the non-allied movement and the G77 plus China conference. Of course, we are also going to host the speakers and the speakers of parliament and the presiding officers. That is going to start next week, actually, on 3rd. So all those are good economic implications to the country. Expecting many guests to flock around. So be prepared to have some goodies, especially Uganda has one of the best pineapples in the world. That one I can attest. Have the best bogoyas, bananas, and the best pineapples in the world. That one I can attest. Because at one point I remember I was a bit young, but when Bill Clinton was here, that was his menu. He said, I've never tasted something as sweet as these pineapples elsewhere in the world. So basically, when you look at the person like me, we are going to gain a lot due to the good space that is being created by opening up spaces and opening up boundaries through the airlines and through this integration of these East African communities by bringing on board the babies, like Bonia said, the Somalis of this kind. Now you have a direct flight to Mogadishu, right from Entebbe, opening up businesses for those who are risk takers.
Talking about East Africa, I would want to talk about the deaths that are happening in Sudan, the way people are killing each other. It's not going well in Sudan, and also the continuous attacks of ADF on Uganda, the tourists that lost their lives.
Yes.
When they were in Uganda, the children that died in that school that ADF attacked, has been also very bad for us as East Africa, given the fact that Democratic Republic is now part of East Africa. There is a lot that we need to work on.
Interesting. We also had BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and other members are now playing. And as far as I'm concerned or aware, Uganda is now part of that BRICS forum. Do you see any achievements that we are likely to realize as a country in BRICS? Is it going to in any way challenge the NATO that have been forming? What should we expect from this BRICS? Ngobi?
I was not yet addressed my mind so much on that venture, but whenever you open up spaces, you are creating economic opportunities. Actually, you notice that most Ugandans don't know that some of those are actually visa-free countries, especially when you look at countries like Brazil, countries like most of the countries in the Caribbean islands, countries like Jamaica, countries like Trinidad and Tobago, actually are visa-free countries. You just get endorsed on arrival. So when you open up spaces, we are creating more opportunities for the country economically, and of course strengthening the relationship between those countries, and of course building capacities, because whenever you open up, you broaden your capacity building. You learn from each other. So whatever spaces they open up, I know they are good economically for our country.
You've just talked. You've talked. Please.
Add on something that if Uganda comes to break, that one first of all is marketing Uganda. Uganda has so many products to put out there. So once they have been drafted into an organization like BRICS, surely we have good coffee. As Ngobi said earlier on, that our pineapple is the best, and the former president of America had to taste it, and he said it was very good. So that one puts Uganda on the map, on the world map, so that opportunities can really come, as George said earlier.
George, you talked about visa-free. And a number of countries, especially in East Africa, have removed visas to enter into their countries. We started with President William Ruto of Kenya, and he says, you African countries, you don't need a visa to come and be in Kenya. And also, is it in this year that we have seen President Paul Kagame of Rwanda also remove the visa?
Yeah, actually,
they
are softening visa restrictions, because why do you close your boundaries? You know, Amona, it's interesting that we share the same sky, we share the same sun, we share the same stars. These boundaries were colonial settings. Otherwise, for us, we used to be pre-colonial time. We used to have regions where you find specific tribes who share the same interest, the Bantu sharing the same culture backgrounds, and they could enjoy the benefits of that economically. But boundaries are indeed economic colonial creations that are really brought impediments on our development. Because you see, the strongest organizations, the strongest countries are united. That's why you have the superpowers like the United States of America, and the President Yoweri Museveni has been advocating for East African integration, and indeed you know what it comes with when we integrate. The economy expanded. So by easing visa restrictions, actually, we are opening up markets socially, economically, and politically.
Okay, interesting. Time is not on our side. I would love to get your parting shots, your last comments. Let me start with the lady. Faith Elizabeth, your best and the last and the worst of 2023.
My best and the worst of 2023 personally, or...
You start with the best. I know you would love to start with the worst.
Personally.
Your last comments.
2023 has been a good year. It has had its ups and downs, but mostly it's been a good year. We've seen so many good things happening. We've seen so many developments happening in the country. For example, almost every road that I use around is being worked on. That is something I believe is a development. The road in Kampala, in the center of the city, the one which has the go-overs and all that, is also being worked on, which means 2023 has been a good year. 2023 has been a year of personal development, which has been great, achieving goals. And the worst part of 2023 to me has been humanity slowly losing humanity, people easily killing each other, people taking their lives, and also mental health cases being on the rise, especially in young children. I keep wondering, is it that our parents and their parents didn't have problems that we do today, or is it that we have failed to cope and find a better way to handle the things we are having that are going on? Because people are slowly losing humanity, relationships are slowly dying out, and yet in the years before now, we see our parents were still married by the time we were born. So 2023 has been rough on people's relationships and family, and the domestic aspect itself, as we've seen different people have been killing each other. But all in all, 2023 was a good year. That is all I can say.
Interesting. Bonnie?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm on a good note. 2023 had so many positives. Things like AFCON, Uganda being put in the AFCON arrangement, though we have challenges, as my brother Mwine was saying earlier. But being picked to host AFCON is not a small thing. So because it comes with a market, our business people will benefit. So many people will benefit in Uganda because of AFCON. Only that on a bad note, out of this stadiums to be constructed, the one of Akibwa has been put aside. So the people there are not happy that why. And yet Akibwa was the first person ever in Uganda to bring a gold medal into the country. So they have petitioned the president. They are crying to the president that what has happened, that one is a bad one. But AFCON generally is a good thing, and we all like it. Still on a lighter note, that anti-homosexuality bill that was signed and by the president, it's really a good thing because we are a country of very high morals. So if we accept anything that comes by, then it's not good. Then, of course, as I said earlier, more investments have been coming. The president, as I said, has been opening so many factories, and that is good for the country. Apart from the high taxes that are sometimes coming with some of these investments. And I think generally the people of Uganda have been working hard. People of Uganda have been working so hard because around the shopping time, I moved around within Kampala. A few days to Christmas, everywhere, even new clothes, people were buying. Meaning, people have been making money throughout the year. At least some money. Then on a bad note, of course, the road accidents that have been so common. You remember the passing, the Aponye, the great businessman who was killed, and so many other people who died on the roads. Our police need really to help us and then see what to do, because we are losing many people every other hour. We are losing people.
Okay.
And then, of course, corruption. I cannot fail to mention corruption. Our agencies should really double their efforts. We have been having a problem with corruption. It has been increasing, though there has been fights, but we need to have our agencies really work. And we, the people, because corruption starts with us as Ugandans. Then, of course, the taxes. I wish the taxes could be reduced because it is very costly to do any business in Uganda. Thank you.
Interesting. George Ngobi.
Okay, I'll begin on something that has really bothered me a lot, that continues to bother me. Of course, the infrastructure development in Kampala is really worrying. The pothole. Actually, sad Kampala, the Pearl of Africa, to be called the pothole city of the world. And hopefully the president this time has deployed the army to work with
the
them.
SFC.
I think they are doing some good job. Then, of course, how I wish somebody could come and regulate the border riders in the city. They are really a mess. They are really a mess. Actually, they swarm like bees. They pass from every corner. So I wish some magic can happen in 2024. But of course, on a good note, I concur with my colleagues. Hosting AFCON is really a plus. And probably Santos forgot to talk about that we are going to host the CHAN Championship, still here. The three countries, the Pamoja bid is going to also share the CHAN tournament, that is the home-based players, which is next year. But the climax, the icing of the cake, came with the royal wedding.
Yes.
Of Busoga.
The inner Bantu and inner Bantu. How could we miss out on that?
That was the icing. That was the icing because I come from Busoga.
In fact, George, I've never seen a royal wedding.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I think I put this one at the top.
Yeah, it's something that comes in a lifetime. We may not.
What about the Uganda?
Probably.
It was there, but I did not want it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This one to me is at a high.
For the record, I sat from morning on UBC and never left.
You followed every moment.
I followed every moment.
And,
So,
and I was here in studios.
so you
inspiring
can see
the people of
something
Uganda.
that comes once in a lifetime. Though we may have, for us we are lucky because the Toro Kingdom is also in waiting, but it was excitement. Seeing the beautiful couple exchanging vows. And of course, bringing joy to Busoga. At least we know we are going to have a princess or a prince to come there.
And the Inebantu comes from your village.
Yes, of course, my village.
That's why he's excited. All right.
I would like to add something small.
Liz.
The Mulago conducting its first ever kidney transplant was also something big for us as the health sector, which means most of the movements to take our patients outside the country are almost coming to an end, which I believe is a big move for us as Uganda. Yes.
Interesting. Thank you, gentlemen and the lady in the studios of UBC. Thank you, our dear listeners, for being part of us from the time we started up to this very time that we are ending our program. And thank you for our callers who participated and sent in their messages in this very edition. Simon Mugelwa, Jonas, Grace from Gayaza, and Jimmy from Lila. And I want to wish you all the best in 2023. Still have hours to end this year, and there is a lot that can take place, that can happen. You can get your answers, your prayers answered in these very few minutes. But as well, I would want to call everybody to be vigilant and take care of yourselves, because these hours that we have just remained with, many people tend to drink and forget about their lives. And we have lost so many lives when it comes to New Year's Eve. So I pray that we all mind our security, mind our lives. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, George Ngovi, for being part of us. Thank you, Bonnie, and also Faith and Santos. Many thanks to my executive producer, to my producers, and all the other team that we've been working with from the time we started 1st January 2022 up to this time that we are wrapping and ending 2023. It has been a privilege being part of you, the people of Uganda. We always come here on radio because we know that you are there. Thank you so much. We give glory to God. And George Ngobi said that he gave the plus to Uganda for hosting AFCON. And is it CHAN? You mentioned CHAN.
CHAN, yes.
But the plus, I give it to Uganda for hosting non-allied movement and a G70 7 plus China, which is next year, which is next week. We're starting preparations next week. We have about 16 days to the NAM, which is a very, very big summit, and we have a privilege and honor to host as a country. And we expect to be there, and we shall give you all the details of these two great events. Until next time, same station, same program. I'm Peter Manoptega. Allow me now to sign out.